Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly update for Crane Mountain Gaming. I mentioned before, we're a little bit delayed on this one. The kids had school off Friday and I had to drive some people to medical appointments and birthday parties and all kinds of stuff. And then I spent some of the weekend involved in political stuff, shall we say. And then also spending time with the girlfriend. So, sorry for the delay, but some good stuff to go over this week. Recording this a little bit quickly, so I'm going to do less editing. It may be a bit slapdash because I'm meeting with an accountant shortly to get tax IDs set up and prep for filing and all these things that I've never done before as a business. So that'll be interesting, and if I learn anything kind of cool and useful for other aspiring people out there, I will share that along the way. So again, I am going to kind of summarize the features here, and then I'm going to show you some of the changes. A lot of back-end stuff to make some new things work again. So the main thing that we were focused on here was basically setting up the message and the perk system. So messages are a way in the game to communicate with you as the player in an asynchronous fashion. So here's a message, the shop telling you, oh, we restocked stuff, you may check it out, or an explorer basically reporting how their adventure went. Because one thing we want to do from a design perspective is not assume that you're always paying attention to the game or you always have it on or whatever. And so if there are activities that you've kind of queued up, people are exploring and other things, and you go off to the grocery store or whatever, you have that information when you come back. So there's a basic kind of email themed type system. It's basically a habitat mail system that you can access through Yukari. And then on top of that, there are perks, and perks are a way to, as you level up your player, basically acquire and use points to improve your player, but give you some choice in how you want to improve it. So you could focus on investing in the habitat and the shop and habitat related perks, or beefing up your explorers, or you could focus more on the research and crafting side. And over time you'll be able to get not all but quite a few of those perks in different categories if you want, but it really should give you some options to customize and to allow your different players or multiple people playing the game to have different kind of build paths and approaches to the game. And they will probably be the number one source of balance nightmare, honestly. So I am going to show you, excuse me, I'm going to show you how that works here. And let me check. I need to make a quick modification and restart the server. I turned some stuff off from a testing perspective. So we are going to, I didn't do as much setup here, so we're going to do some kind of slapdash stuff, as I said, to get this to work. So I have a new player here with a fully loaded cheater inventory. We're going to gear someone up and get them exploring, and I'm going to kind of show the before and after of what's going on here. So we're, if you've seen this before, I shouldn't assume that everybody's seen this before, I guess. We just started the game. We have two brand new explorers here, and these are our people who are going to do our crafting and research. The sim element of this game is that we're managing the business and controlling this team of explorers, and so we're going to send them through the portals. We ourselves, the player, are not visible in true sim game fashion. We're sort of managing operations, and for thematic reasons, which will come later when I start getting into the story more, we ourselves actually cannot and should not use the portal. There's a little teaser there, so let's grab a couple more of these. And okay, so we're going to start an adventure here because we need to have our player gain some experience and do some leveling up. So Kate Asimov is going to go exploring, and Katsuhiro Otomo, we need to have him exploring too. We're going to have you go to the shop because we need to get some extra gear. I've started with extra money now here to speed up testing. You didn't see that before. So Katsuhiro Otomo is going to be loaded with overpowered stuff, which is fine. All right, so inventory, we need to equip this gear, and Katsuhiro Otomo is going to go exploring as well. So now let them do their thing. We're going to have to get them to level up along the way. So just to kind of show you what's going on here, I cheated a little bit and gave myself some perk points, and I probably already have some unlocked, so I can show you that. The team size, there's a team size right now, which is how many explorers you can have on your team. So once you hit that limit, you can't hire more explorers. And there are ways, which I probably won't go into here for spoiler reasons, but there are ways to increase your team size. I may spoil it when I do the perks. I don't know, we'll see. But it's related to perks. So as you level up, you gain points. You can increase your team size. That's one of your options. Let's see, how are they doing? Yeah, they're doing fine. And there's an error generating here that is apparently an internal Unity error, so don't freak out about that. It doesn't impact gameplay at all. So this is our mail app, which is pretty basic right now, and it's also empty. So we're going to get reports from our explorers when they finish their adventures, which we can read in the mail app. And then the other app that we've added here is the perk grid. So it's not huge yet. There's going to be a lot more perk options here. But basically, this is a grid where we can use the perk points to unlock and expand our players' capabilities. When it starts out, the only one available and not unlocked will be this one in the middle here called Bling, which, I'll come up with a better name eventually. But basically, this gives you the 20 credits that you saw that I had. So the first perk that everyone unlocks at level 2 just delivers a batch of money, which is going to be used for story reasons to accomplish something in the quest chain. So from there, basically when you unlock a perk, the adjacent ones, not at an angle, just upright, down and left, become available. So you can choose those. So you basically have to pick a build path through the grid, although you don't actually know, at least until somebody creates a Wikia page, you don't actually know what the other ones are. So you have to unlock them progressively. And you also, other than the hints associated with the name, don't know exactly what they do. Now, this is a design decision I'm making, and I may regret later. But a lot of games right now basically, say, oh, here's this thing that you can get, and here's exactly what it does. So you can look at it and you can decide, oh, I think this is more powerful than this other one. I kind of want you to explore, make some decisions, maybe regret them, change them later, and just, put a little bit more sort of mystery into the game. So obviously you could just read information that people have compiled online if you want to optimize the game. But if you really want to play it, sort of blind, you have the option to do that where you'll have to actually explore to min-max, or you might make some decision that doesn't seem optimal, and then you adjust your play to learn how to take best advantage of that. Because you're not really competing with anyone, you're just competing with yourself. So I think you should have that option to take a more discovery approach to the game. So our explorers have returned here. And let's see how they're doing here. So 500 experience, 400 experience. So we don't have any mail yet because we have to trigger the update. So I mentioned before, for simplicity, I'm not running background tasks now, which are doing the delivery of all of that. So we're just going to grab some item here to trigger the update. And we're going to get informed that we have new mail. So this is our little message system if you haven't seen before. So we'll get updates along the way. And they need to be styled. They're just basic right now. So we have basically 2 new mail here, which we can read. And so we're going to read this one from Kate Asimov, and it gets marked as read. I don't have a delete task right now. That's kind of not important yet. But eventually the older messages will get cleared out, or you can delete them to get them out of the way. But the newer ones are always up top, and you can tell what you've read and haven't read, and you can scroll through the list. So it's pretty easy to work with. So basically the explorers now, when they're on their adventures, they just give you a summary. You can just read it and delete it if you were tracking them through the adventure. But if you queued them up for an adventure and then you went to make a sandwich or whatever and came back and they were done, this is them reporting what happened in summary form during the adventure. So you understand, they found these items, here's how much experience they gained, etc. So you have the information you would have if you were watching them in real time. So Kate Asimov says she came across something which challenged her intuition and succeeded. It recharged her frame, saving her a power cell. Then she fought a juvenile Ranid. She was victorious, recovered an item. You can read that, pause the screen and read it if you want. The only thing that's a little fourth wall breaking here is they tell you how much experience they gained. Thematically, I'm iffy on it, but I think that's really important information, and you shouldn't have to do that math, so it's all right. And then Katsuhiro Otomo, he's telling you, okay, he encountered a trap, he fought something, and then he came back and he gained 500 experience. And they'll also tell you, if they like found a stash with items or anything like that. So that gives you the summary of their exploration. And if you check out inventory here, here are the items that he said he encountered, etc. So it should all match up with what was listed there. So that's the mail system. And that the primary use, and it's doubling right now. I need to fix this bug. Yeah, okay. Sometimes when you open it, it adds duplicate entries, so I need to fix that. So the purpose of the mail system, as I mentioned, delivering those reports is one of them, but there will also be announcements or other things that will be broadcast sort of habitat-wide. You're the only player, but thematically habitat-wide, like stock, shop reset stocks, other things happening on the ships. There may be flavor announcements or other things that get mailed around, please stop stealing my lunch from the fridge or that kind of thing. But I don't want to spam people too much, so I haven't quite decided on exactly how to do that. And then it will tie into the story later on as well, because you'll start to receive mail from somebody who isn't somebody that and they may be providing guidance or information. I won't go into that in too much detail yet, but an anonymous benefactor will start to contact you, and interesting things will happen from there. So let's play with perks a little bit. Real quick, I'm going to pause this and check to make sure I didn't miss anything on the mail side. Yep, we can scroll through that, etc. After action reports. Yeah, okay. So now we're on the perk grid. So another thing that's important from a perk standpoint here is the players now have an inventory size limit as well. And this is not just to make a specific mechanic work, but this is important from a game balance standpoint as well. There's not really a weight limit, there's just an inventory limit. So if I have an inventory limit of 10 currently, I can only hold up to 10 items. So, and cross our fingers that this all works, because I haven't tested it in great detail, but we're going to try to get something else here and said, nope, full inventory, we can't get more items. Now, a couple things around the edges here. We can unequip and equip items like this, and that technically goes over our inventory limit, but that's totally kosher. I do not want inventory management to be a key portion of the game or a pain in the butt. We're not going for a No Man's Sky here. So you can swap gear in and out like that, and it'll be fine. I'm going to use a power cell there, recharge that frame. Okay. So that happens you can't purchase from the shop if your inventory is full, so you need to save or stash something. Trading items respects that. So all of the different ways that people's inventory could increase respects that. Now, if you're thinking, you're probably wondering, if I'm adventuring, my inventory is full and I acquire stuff during the adventure, what happens to it? Do I have to leave it behind, etc.? No. That is another circumstance where you can go over your inventory capacity. So if you send them off to adventure with a full inventory and they defeat stuff and acquire items and find things, you get to keep all of that. You're just going to have to, when you come back, stash it or sell some stuff or whatever to get that inventory down. But you will not lose items due to inventory capacity. That is not cool. So we're not going to play it that way. Okay. So an inventory capacity plays into the perks as well. So I'm going to get into the perks now. That's the new application here. And again, just placeholder icons and stuff right now. We're going to launch the new perk app, which I kind of showed off. So we've already acquired a couple here. We have Bling Bling, we have Mule, we have Alert, we have Draft Horse. Mule and Draft Horse are inventory capacity related, which played in there. But there are a couple other ones here that we can do. So I'm just going to show you how this works. I'm going to acquire Bling Bling. Some of these change things that happen, like if they're related to hiring explorers, they may happen when you hire your next explorer. Some of them are kind of instant. So this is an instant reward one. We're going to unlock this perk, and we've actually just received 50 credits. So now we're up to 66. So that's an instant reward related to delivering credits. So this is a good way to jumpstart your income. If you're taking the long game, you may want to skip it and save perk points. Depends on how you want to play it. So you can see basically when I acquired this as well that 2 more unlocked here. Now you can't see or select any of these that are locked. If you're out of perk points, you won't be able to select these as well. These are decrementing as we're acquiring them. So I'm going to pick up Coach, and I don't want to show everything off here because I'll give too much away. But I'm going to pick up Coach here, and I'm going to show you what that does. So we have a team size of 2, which means we can hire 1 more person. I've just picked up this Coach perk. So this is going to do something for the next explorer that I hire and all future explorers. So I'm going to pick up another person here. And one thing you're going to notice here is that Hedwig Dyson has actually started with 3 strength as opposed to 2, which is the starting baseline. So this Coach perk is actually increasing the starting strength stat of any explorer we hire. So it's an incremental, basically baseline permanent stat. So so that's kind of how the perks work. And it's basically sort of item research crafting quadrant is here. The explorer quadrant is here. The shop quadrant is here. And then the sort of habitat benefits and perks, non-shop related, are here. And then roughly the things in the middle are sort of half and half, but it's not, 100%. But that's generally how it works. So if you head in a certain direction, you can expect perks to be related to each other in that direction. So, you could beeline all the way up into the quadrant here, but then if you decide some stuff around here, you have further to travel, etc. So anyway, they give you sort of different builds and approaches. The bottom right quadrant is not very fleshed out right now because a lot of the habitat perks are related to mechanics that are not, they're further down in the roadmap. So this will flesh out, but hopefully, I think by the time we get to the prototype, this grid will be full of totally operational perks and maybe slightly larger too, depending on how much I want to add. And this will right now support playing not the entire possible set of levels for the player, but enough that it's going to take quite a long time to unlock all of this grid. So the decisions are pretty meaningful. So we'll just grab a couple more here for fun and see what happens. So, okay, so these are not implemented yet, which means I can't select them. I just picked up sardines, and you'll note that my team size went up 1, so now we can hire an additional explorer. We're going to grab investor. So you can see some of these aren't implemented yet, but basically as you unlock these, you can get to the end of the grid there, and it's docking perk points along the way. So there you go. All of them are currently reachable if they're implemented. I made a few mistakes there and corrected it, but that's the perk grid. So this will get much larger over time, and as you can see, it's just kind of a nice touch scrollable interface here. I didn't give it a full screen because it actually, when you full screen it, it's really awkward to get in and out of it, and it doesn't give you that much more viewing space. So I may change my mind, or I may make it smaller, although I'm always reluctant to do that on mobile. But I may make it smaller as the grid gets bigger, slightly smaller, maybe 10 by 10 pixels or something to fit more on. But anyway, so that's how the perks work and the mail system works. And we'll ditch this for Hedwig Dyson there. So the mail system is going to support quite a lot of game mechanics and stuff that I'm working on now, and sort of some stuff to drive the story forward. And then the perk system, as I said, is a way to reward you for leveling up as a player and give you options and build paths on how to approach the game. So that's what we worked on last week. Number of improvements there. And then this is leading into the focus for this week, which is the quest system. So mechanically introducing a quest system to do 2 things. One, the quest system is going to be the primary way to gain player experience. So you're going to have effectively storyline quests, or you're going to have everybody's going to have a fixed progression of quests that will give you experience and other rewards and help you level up, and reward you with items and things to make sure you don't get stuck. And then there will likely be, with the prototype or maybe post-prototype, a kind of daily quest rotation where you get delivered quests and challenges that work towards achievements and other things, but also give you an opportunity to participate in them to gain experience faster and also acquire, items that will help you craft and things and move the game forward. So they should be done in such a way that they're optional, or you only have to do them periodically if you're playing casually. But if you really want to explore the game, push the content, fight high-level content, etc., you can stay on top of those to get there faster. So hopefully the update at the end of the week this week will be a demonstration of the quest system. We'll see how that goes. There's a lot of kind of complexity around serializing the quests and the tracking and the updates and stuff. So I think it'll take a good portion of the week, but we'll see how that goes. So there you go. The usual update kind of at the end here. If you have any questions about the game, about the project, about starting the business, etc., anything like that, I'm happy to answer them for you. I'm kind of creating these because, one, it's a good way to show people what I'm doing, but two, I think this is an interesting life decision a lot of people make. Start a company. Games in particular, I think, are fantastic. So, trying to share information and make sure that people can engage me. If you've always been interested in this and want to do it, happy to provide advice or information or whatever along the way. So you can hit me up, either comment on the video. You can check out the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Crane Mountain Gaming, all spelled out, or Crane MT Gaming on Twitter @Crane MT Gaming. And the website will probably go up this week as well, so I'll make a note about that and show it in the update video for this week. You'll be able to leave feedback and find out how to reach me on the website as well, including acquire some merchandise and check announcements and so on. So there you go, and thanks for watching and tracking progress on the game. Appreciate your support, and we'll see you next week. Peace.